Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to the Midday News on Global Television, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I'm Uyi Agumofwegbe, reminding our viewers that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Lagos State government has approached the Supreme Court seeking leave to commence contempt proceedings against the National Assembly for allegedly violating a subsisting judgment of the apex courts that declared federal legislation on lottery and gaming unconstitutional. In a motion filed by Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Lagos is asking the court for permission to initiate judgment enforcement proceedings through the issuance of Form 48, a legal notice that precedes contempt or committal proceedings. Lagos State Government Counsel Bode Olanikbekun SAN said the National Assembly's ongoing consideration of the proposed Central Gaming Bill is in direct breach of the Supreme Court's judgments in Attorney General of Lagos State and others versus Attorney General of the Federation and others delivered on November 22, 2024. The federal government says it is intensifying efforts to strengthen Nigeria's primary healthcare system and reduce the country's high disease burden. This was the focus of discussions at the 6th Annual Legislative Summit on Health held in Abuja. Health correspondent Zarao Nasiro has details.
Stakeholders across Nigeria's health sector converged in Abuja to chart a new course for revitalizing the country's primary healthcare system, a key step toward achieving universal health coverage. Delivering the keynote address, Dr. Kabiru Atta expressed concern that only 4% of primary healthcare workers are fully active, as many Nigerians continue to bypass local facilities. He emphasized the need to make primary health centers the first point of medical contact, especially during emergencies.
I realized that the woman with fistula requires several services. She requires social rehabilitation, medical rehabilitation, and then back to the community, nutrition services, physiotherapy services. But at no point in time could you know where that woman was and what services she needed. And that's why we decided to work with the Federal Ministry of Health to set up what we call a fistula tracker system.
Also speaking, Chika Ofo of the Vaccine Network for Disease Control disclosed that only 25% of vaccination funds for 2024 were released, a shortfall. She undermines the delivery of essential health services.
So for Nigeria, in my experience, I've come to realize that to budget is very easy. So if you say you want to budget that vaccines funding or health funding should be 1 trillion, very easy. The funding. The problem is in the release.
Participants at the summit called for increased funding, improved staffing, and stronger legislative backing to reposition Nigeria's primary health care system as the foundation of effective health delivery. Experts say Nigeria's journey toward a healthier population depends on sustained investment and political will to make primary health care accessible and reliable for all citizens. Zahra Nasr, reporting for Global TV News.
Thank you, Zirao. The Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, says the Southeast is now benefiting from President Bola Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda. He made this known while inaugurating the Renewed Hope Partners in Abia State, where he listed major federal interventions in infrastructure, energy, agriculture, and education across the region. Our National Assembly correspondent, Anietie Patrick, has details.
At Ukwa West in Abia State, supporters gathered as Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu kicked off the inauguration of Renewed Hope Partners across the state's 17 local government areas. Kalu told the crowd that Southeast is beginning to feel what he described as intentional inclusion by President Bola Tinubu's administration. The Deputy Speaker reeled out key federal projects, including the establishment of the Southeast Development Commission, the revival of the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri rail line, and new gas pipeline infrastructure across the region. He also highlighted the compressed natural gas initiative, which he said could save Nigeria 2 trillion naira monthly in fuel imports.
Mr. President said, I develop our people? No. Go and tell them that I love them. Who the super president? We love you, Mr.
On agriculture, Kalu said the federal government has allocated land in Abia, Ebonyi, and Enugu for its 10 million hectare food security program, with fertilizer and mechanized equipment already being distributed. He added that Southeast students have so far received over 45 billion naira in federal student loans.
And the law, and always in the interest of integrity, solidarity, well-being, and prosperity, strive to preserve the objectives of Renewed Hope Partners.
So far, the Renewed Hope Partners have been launched in Ukwa East, Ukwa West, Ugwanabo, Osisioma, and Obingwa. Kalu says the next phase will be the creation of Renewed Hope Councils in every local government aligned with the Southeast Development Commission. Aniete Patrick, reporting for Global TV News.
Environmentalists have called on the federal government to increase investments in green and renewable energy. This was at the 6th Annual Legislative Summit on Climate, Environment and Sustainable Health, recently held in Abuja. Our environmental correspondent, Ubong Usoro, has details.
The chairman of the National Agency for the Great Green Wall, Senator Magnus Abe, represented by Honorable Maureen Maremo, said the government must adequately prepare health workers for emerging challenges through improved administrative and management skills. He noted that there is a close link between health and climate, calling for stronger legislation and greater investment in green energy across health facilities.
So this forum, therefore, should not just merely be a dialogue thing. We should grow beyond this dialogue thing. We should talk about wise legislation and to see how we must put these things to good use.
In his keynote address, Dr. Alex Chimbaru, the deputy country representative of the World Health Organization, speaking on the topic Accelerating Climate Health Resilience, said that climate change and its impact can no longer be ignored. He called for increased investment in climate-smart solutions, noting that the World Health Organization has implemented solar power projects in Akwa Ibom and River State as pilot initiative.
These challenges demand bold leadership and coordinated action across sectors. The good thing, we have people who matter in this room. The legislators, the Senate, partners are all present today.
Also speaking, Rita Michael Ojo, the executive secretary of the Nigerian Environment Summit Group, said that the issues of environmental degradation can no longer be neglected, stressing that Nigeria must urgently confront the challenges of degradation, climate change, and global warming.
Building resilience from policy to practical sustainability. Nigeria loses over $100 billion annually to the impacts of climate change.
Participants at the summit emphasized the need for collaboration between policymakers, the private sector, and development partners to drive sustainable energy solutions. Ubong Usoro for Global Television News.
A tour of the brand new Museum of West African Arts, also called MOA, in Benin City has been interrupted by protesters suspending the official opening scheduled for today until further notice. While the protesters' demands are not clear, the museum's founder, Philippe Eanacho, alleged that the demonstrators were aligned with the palace of the Oba of Benin, the city's traditional ruler, who many believe should be in charge of the museum. Philippe Eanacho is the founder of Museum of West African Arts. He says what had been scheduled to take place on Sunday, 9th of November 2025, was a private visit, which was disrupted right in the middle of the tour.
What happened today is that we had people protesters who came in and started vandalizing some of our the Welcome Pavilion, which is where we have visitors, and then broke into the front where the exhibition area is. So we had to move people across to the rest of the museum. The unfortunate thing is that this was not a commissioning. This is not an official commissioning at all. This was just a preview of our first exhibition.
This video, posted by Chief Press Secretary to Edo State Governor Fred Itwa earlier on Monday, shows a delegation he described as ambassadors of European countries who had accompanied the state governor to the palace of the Oba of Benin. The Museum of West African Arts was launched 5 years ago by Iheanacha, a Nigerian businessman in Benin City, Edo State, with the support of the state's former governor, Godwin Obaseki.
This is Global Television, and you're watching the live broadcast of the Midday News. When the rest of the broadcast returns shortly, federal government reaffirms commitment to sports development at the 2025 Nigeria Universities game. Details coming shortly, plus business and foreign stories for you. On the other side of this break, please do stay with us. Thank you so very much for staying with us. The second part of this news broadcast now returns with business. Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani, says the bill for an act on national digital economy and e-governance would be signed into law when passed by the National Assembly this week. Dr. Tijani stated this during a public hearing organized by the Joint Committee on Internet, Communication and Technology and Cybersecurity. Topsy Gimba has details.
Dr. Bosun Tijani said that President Bola Tinubu was passionate about the bill and ready to sign into law following its economic value. Dr. Tijani said when the law becomes operational, the country will be looking at $1 trillion economy annually. He disclosed that because of its importance, the committee had to go around the 36 states of the country, including FCT, to gather inputs.
If we're able to allow Nigeria to rise, the rest of Africa will rise. And the leadership we're seeing on display today and over the past month and the last 2 years.
He noted that the Tinubu-led administration is laying about 90,000 communication fibers across rural communities in the country to stimulate the digital economy.
As a government, we've chosen the path of deepening infrastructure, not doing the cheap things, but investing in the foundational infrastructure, but also policies that will open up our economy and get us to where we need to be as a nation.
Earlier, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Internet Communication and Technology ICT and Cybersecurity, Senator Shaibu Afolabi Salisu APC Ogun, said the bill, when signed into law, will address key objectives in the digital economy where e-transaction will be treated like analog transactions.
This bill, for the first time in this country, will have what we call national data exchange, meaning that same citizen who has obtained his passport from the Ministry of Interior, that same citizen can benefit from government largesse in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Many paper submissions were made by stakeholders in support of the bill.
In the bill, we actually note that multiple agencies are assigned overlapping roles under the bill. And on this, we believe that to enhance coordination and policy coherence, we recommend the creation of a National Digital Economy Council, which we are proposing that should be chaired by the Vice President in order to harmonize mandates and reduce duplication.
The committee chairman assured stakeholders that the bill will be laid at the chamber for consideration for passage this week. Topsy Gimba reporting for Global Television News.
We appreciate your reporting, Gimba. Millions of Nigerians have continued to grapple with unpleasant situations, including persons living with disabilities, leading to displacement from their ancestral homes. Many in Benue State have been forced to seek refuge in internally displaced persons camps, surviving on the mercy and goodwill of spirited individuals, corporate bodies, and humanitarian organizations. Our correspondent, Felicity Indere, takes a look at the plight of displaced persons at the Makurdi International Market and ongoing efforts to improve their livelihoods.
Makurdi International Market serves as temporary refuge for hundreds of internally displaced persons, including victims of the June 13 Year-Water attack and other shelters scattered across the state. For these individuals, daily survival depends largely on humanitarian support from government agencies, non-governmental organizations, and generous citizens.
We will select few of the IDP that are most interested in learning fashion. We will train them. We will do our need assessment while we are here on camp.
Many say life would be easier if they were empowered to become self-reliant and provide for their families.
First and foremost, I came here with tears, but now it seems like the tears are drying small.
We are so appreciative to you people to bring us assistance, to you to come and sew us clothes freely. You cannot even demand anything to us. You can just even choose yourself to come and give us assist. And then we are so happy for that. If anybody will have and more assist to come and support us here, and then we are so pleased to him that God should touch him to come and help us more.
I thank these people. They help me to sew clothes.
Bosha Premium Couture, a fashion-based company from Lagos, has launched a project to empower IDPs by distributing free clothing over 14 days, followed by 6 months of training in tailoring and fashion design to build skills and self-reliance.
We want to empower them. So this is where we are having a challenge again. After doing the training for 6 months as we plan to do, then we'll be looking forward to empower them, because there will not be a need for training if we are not going to empower them.
As the saying goes, it is better to teach someone to fish than to give them fish. Such initiatives are seen as a sustainable step towards empowering victims of conflict and supporting the resettlement plan of the Benue State government. In Makurdi, Felicity Indere reporting for Global Television News.
Felicity Indere, we appreciate you for that very interesting, very deeply concerning updates there. For several years, traders from northern Nigeria have journeyed southward to buy timber and other building materials. However, with the rising cost of living and inflation, the business has taken a hard hit, especially at the timber market at Neibawa area in Kano State. Global TV correspondent Idris Jibrain brings us details.
For over 2 decades, Alhaji Umar Abdul Mumin has made regular trips from Kano to Calabar across River State, buying timber in commercial quantity. His business has supported his family and supplied small traders in the region. This trade is everything to me. I can only give thanks to God. I started this business from childhood. Today I am married. I have children. I was able to own a house, all with this trade. The rising cost of transportation is, however, eating deep into profits. Traders like Sanusi Adamu says prices have skyrocketed, making it difficult to sustain the business.
One cannot say this is the specific factor that causes the hiking of the materials, wooden materials or building materials, especially from the south states. A trailer is being costed up to 5 million from there down to here, Kano. You know, their own setting is not like ours. They have so many revenues. Even the rascals can even just set off their own gate and say that you must pay before you pass. That is why the wood is costlier.
Despite these challenges, the trade still supports hundreds of small-scale traders and youth in northern Nigeria. Without urgent intervention, many fear the losses will continue to rise.
If government wants this wood to go down, It has so many policies. It can go there. Midday, it is from, we used to bought it from companies. When governments introduce some policies there, which will enrich the companies, it will help us also.
Unless transportation costs drop and small businesses receive the support they need, timber traders may struggle to survive. From Kano, Idris Jubrin, Global Television News.
Thank you, Idris. On the foreign scene now, an additional 2,300 United States flights were cancelled as President Donald Trump threatened to dock pay for air traffic controllers who called in sick during the government shutdown. After Trump ripped absent aviation workers as unpatriotic, the National Air Traffic Controllers Association labor union hailed members working without pay as unsung heroes in a statement that called for Congress to immediately end the shutdown. Warnings of worsening humanitarian conditions in Sudan continue despite reports of a ceasefire deal brokered by international mediators last week. United Nations Human Rights Chief Volker Turk has expressed worries that traumatized civilians are still trapped inside El Fasher and are being prevented from leaving.
The statement comes amid mounting reports from the United Nations human rights watchdogs and other experts of widespread violence and war crimes after the city of El Fasher fell to the Rapid Support Forces RSF militia on 23rd October this year, which has been battling former allies turned rivals, the military government in Khartoum, for control of Sudan for over 2 years.
I think it's clear that atrocity crimes are being committed as we speak. The fact that you have a siege is already in and of itself an atrocity crime. Whether or not it qualifies for genocide is again for traditional authorities to say, but we shouldn't wait for any of this. We should act now when these horrific atrocities are being committed as we speak. I mean, there is a call for us when it comes to war crimes, crimes against humanity, to act for the international community. You don't need to wait until a court decides that it's been genocide.
Turk also stated that violence continues even for those who managed to flee the city, since exit routes have become scenes of what he called unimaginable cruelty.
And now time to take a look at sports. 18 players have arrived at the Super Eagles camp in Rabat, Morocco, ahead of Nigeria's 2026 FIFA World Cup playoff clash against Gabon, scheduled for Thursday evening. The squad opened camp on Sunday, with preparations intensifying on Monday as all available players took part in the first training session under head coach Eric Schill. And back home, the federal government has reaffirmed its readiness to strengthen sports development across tertiary institutions, aligning its vision with the ongoing 27th Nigerian University Games, NUGA 2025, holding at the University of Jos. Global TV sports correspondent Samuel Odi now reports.
Minister of Human Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Dr. Yusuf Sununu, speaking during a courtesy visit to NUGA Games, says the federal government is determined to harness the energy, talent and creativity of young Nigerians through sports. He noted that the administration's social investment drive is not just only aimed at reducing poverty but also empowering youth through sports excellence. According to the minister, the NUGA Games have become a vital platform for talent discovery, unity, and national coherence. He emphasized that government support for university sports will be sustained to produce athletes who can represent Nigeria globally.
Young people coming together. 90 universities are participating in the NUGA Games this year, and that is kudos to University of Jos. I believe that
on the field of play, Delta State University men's football team fell short to Ekiti State University as they defeated them 1-0. While in basketball, Bayero University Kano dominated Ibrahim Babangida University, winning 55-11 in a thrilling encounter. In chess, University of Ibadan's Chika Okafor maintained the lead after 5 rounds, while in taekwondo, athletes battle for gold in the female 57 kg category. As the competition intensifies, stakeholders says the Spirit of Nougat 2025 not only celebrates athletes excellence, but also reinforces the federal government's commitment to youth empowerment through sports-driven developments. Samuel Odi for Global Television News.
Well, thank you, Samuel Odi. Samuel's report marks the end of the midday news here on Global Television. A quick reminder that we are on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. As always, we encourage you to interact and engage with us across social media platforms using at Global TV and G, as well as other handles as you now see on your screen. I am Uyi Agmofwebe, saying a big thank you to you for watching.